Hey guys, welcome back to another video. So today I have something a little bit different for you guys. I used to do a lot of sit down talks on my second channel, but I kind of navigated away from it. But now, especially with this time and some soul searching and self-reflection, I kind of wanted to bring the sit down talks back. I'm going to talk about something that's really super personal, and I think it's a good time to kind of bring it up now because it's super relevant in the society today, especially with the whole coronavirus and quarantining. So I just want to talk about mental health. Especially, I don't know how to exactly explain this, but so a lot of people, even before the coronavirus, mental health was definitely another step for humanity that we had to kind of accept in our society, that mental health really is a problem and it's always overlooked. And I just feel like it's such a taboo, and it shouldn't have to be a taboo, because just like a physical illness, mental health is just as important. But most people seem to be very pro mental health when it's not in the most inconvenient time. I can't properly handle a situation if I don't have proper mental health. So yeah, that's just my little spiel about it. Well, I really much made this video because social interaction is such a big thing in a human being, and a lot of people, especially now that we're in quarantine, they don't have that type of social interaction anymore. So now they're stuck at home, reflecting and sulking in their feelings and thoughts, and it can get it can be really dangerous for certain people because they don't feel support or don't have support. I would always try to kind of go out, socialize, to kind of suppress certain things that I didn't want to have to go through at the moment. And especially now with everybody quarantining, we don't have social interaction like that, to that extent of where certain people need that. And I just feel like now, because they can't see therapists or whatever, I just feel like maybe this is a way for you to maybe this is a way for me to kind of shed a light onto you, where it's okay, everything's gonna be all right. I'm gonna give you guys some tips on how you guys can stay grounded in this current situation that we're in. So bringing into the whole mental health, I just wanted to take in this opportunity to kind of tell you guys that therapy is okay. So I've gone to therapy before. I get super awkward because I've never really talked about this in a video, let alone with a lot of people in general. I don't really talk about it too much, and it's not more because I'm ashamed of going to therapy. That's not it. I just don't like it when questions get asked. But I just felt like this was the right time and the right platform to do something like this. So bringing it back, I've gone to therapy before. I went 2 years ago extensively for, I think I'd say, almost 9 months. So I was going through my own personal problems before that, where my parents really thought that therapy was a good, where therapy could probably help me. So real quick, my personality is, I'm very type A. And I'm somebody that likes to plan and make lists and, to-do lists so I can check stuff off. That just very much helps me in the way that I think and the way I function. And I'm a very futuristic thinker. I don't really like to think too much in the now. I like to think about any future endeavors that I want to accomplish, like how I can help myself now to achieve that future goal. And I'm also somebody that likes to very much stick to the plan. So if we're going to the mall and I ask you what stores you go to, literally Michael, my boyfriend, and my sister always have to go through this with me, because I'll be like, I can't spend too much time in one place, really. So I'll ask them, like, what stores are you going to? And they'll give me, like, maybe Nike, Adidas, and Nordstrom. So when we go, I expect to only go to Nike, Adidas, and Nordstrom. I don't like to stray too far from it, because then it messes up with my future plan. So when I was growing up, like, the way that I would handle problems would be just to kind of suppress it, or like dust it off, brush it off, and never really like address the actual problem. So I would always bottle things up to where a certain point where I would just explode. And 2 years ago, I was just like in a really, really dark place. As most of you know, that's when I came back from the Philippines. So my plan of graduating in the Philippines, just obviously it was not happening. And I was just going through my own personal issues that I won't talk about. I was just such in a dark place that the demons that were going through me and the thoughts that were going in through my head couldn't be beat by anyone except for myself. And that was something that was super hard to kind of accept, because I didn't know what to do. So how would I be able to expect myself to beat that demon or those thoughts if I didn't know how to do that myself? So safe to say, I did go through a depression. I was clinically diagnosed with depression and anxiety, and I did not expect to cry. Whoa, okay. That's not it. Okay. So, that was a dark time in my life. And like I said, I really don't talk about it, but I just feel like it's super important for someone that has a platform like this to be able to kind of connect with someone else that is probably going through the same thing, but just doesn't have anybody to talk to, or like the resources to be able to talk to somebody. But yeah, I just want to make sure that you know that you're not alone, because there's like millions of people that go through mental health issues like all the time. So you're not alone. When I came back from the Philippines, I came back, I would say, July. And what happened is that before I made the decision to come back home, I stopped going to school, and I would just skip classes because I don't know, I just wasn't feeling it anymore. So I wouldn't be able to sleep. A lot of my classmates were super supportive though. So thank you to you guys. You guys know who you are. And my teachers too, they really tried to help. Yeah, so then I decided to just go home. So that was about July. So I was halfway through my summer semester, and I just decided, it was I talked to my parents and I was just it's time to go home. I had asked my parents and my family not to say anything to anybody. I didn't want anybody to know that I was home, mainly because I didn't like know what was happening, and two, I just didn't want questions because I didn't have answers. I came home. It took me like 2 months in order it I gave myself 2 months before I publicly said that I was back. But it took me about, I would say, yeah, I think it was about 5 to 6 months until I felt comfortable enough to like go out and like see people. So like we would have, it was the summertime, so we would have parties, family parties and stuff, and only my closest family members knew I was home. And whenever we had parties and stuff, I would always like, I would miss it on purpose because I didn't want anybody to see me. I didn't want questions. So then I went to church one day, and oh my god, I sat there and I was like, I was really hopeless. Like, I was trying to get an answer, but like I said, nobody would be able to give it to me. So there was a gospel, I forgot what it was, but it was mostly the homily that had gotten me. Hey guys, so I kind of just wanted to come back on here because I did remember the gospel, and it was it was the ministry of the 12. So I'm gonna read it here. So then Jesus called the 12 together and gave them the power and authority over all demons and power to cure diseases. And he sent them out to proclaim the kingdom of God and to heal the sick. Take nothing for your journey, he told them. No staff, no bag, no bread, no money, no second tunic. Whatever house you enter, stay there until you leave that area. If anyone does not welcome you, shake the dust off your feet when you leave that town, as a testimony against them. So they set out and went to the village, from village to village, preaching the gospel and healing people everywhere. So the reason why I felt super emotional reading this at the time was because I just kind of felt like, it's weird, but I really felt like I was supposed to be at that mass at that right time, because I mean, I've been asking for answers and I just I never got them. I never knew where to like look for them. But knowing God, he works in mysterious ways, and because I was in that mass and that gospel, I just felt like it really talked to me, because like the travelers, or the 12 ministers, I also basically brought nothing, because when I left the Philippines, I literally only left with one suitcase. I wasn't sure what path I was going to take, and I feel like God was telling me that my strengths that I can offer people were not meant in the Philippines, and that was kind of one of the reasons why I was to go home. But yeah, that's what I took from that special connection that I had at that moment in church. I took that as an answer that God had my back. That was one of my epiphany moments where I was like, bro, like I really need help. So my mom had suggested a therapist, and I was like, what, a therapist? Like, there's no way. Because I was just like, what is that person gonna help me do? So I was kind of like, I wasn't really optimistic going into it. This is like the funny, like looking at it back at it now, like this is the funny part. So I said to my mom, yeah, okay, I'll go see a therapist, like I'll try it out. I first did a Skype session with her, and you know, we kind of just like talked it out, and I never really like said my actual problems, and I think that's also why I felt so in the dark, because I wasn't like talking about my problems with anybody. I was just always so like sad. Like I never talked about why I felt the way I felt. So my first session was an hour session with her, and she basically was just like, okay, so like tell me something about yourself. And I told her everything that I told you guys, my type A personality, I'm a planner, future thinker, etc. And she laughed, and I was like, I know, like I'm super anal. And she was like, that's fine, like so she was like, tell me your problems. So I told her my problems, and I just like bawled out. Like, I've never bawled out so hard, because it was like I finally said the stuff that I was feeling instead of bottling it up this whole time. And she was like, okay, like we can get through this. So after a few sessions, she refers me to another psychologist that I can see in person. And she is by far the best psychologist. Well, obviously I can't really say that just because like I've never been to one, but she was such a great, like, she helped me so much. So my first session with her, she was like, okay, tell me like basically what happened. So I said what happened, except this time like I just said it without feeling. And she was like, okay, like that's not really normal, like you should be a little bit more emotional. And I was just like, okay, so I told you what my problem is, so tell me how to solve it, or tell me how to fix it. And she was like, Mariel, that's not how that works. And I was like, what do you mean? She's like, I can tell that you're a very like to the book person, which she's definitely not wrong. I'm very to the book. And I know that you want to just you just want me to give you a game plan and kind of take it from there. But that's not how psychology works. And I was like, great, like this is gonna be rough. So I basically told her that I didn't want to go to therapy because it meant that I was actually like really going through something. And she totally understood that. She like validated my feelings and was like, you're literally not the only person that has thought of that, that has thought about it. And she kind of like helped me feel like I wasn't alone. Yeah, she kind of helped me feel that like I wasn't alone, because when you're going through something that you don't think other people will understand, that's where the whole loneliness kind of happens. Like that's, for me, that's where it started. Because I was like, nobody knows what I'm feeling, nobody knows what I'm going through. So to have someone kind of relate and kind of validate my feelings opened up my eyes to where like this could be something that I've been needing for the longest time, and is going to give me the best benefits to be able to overcome those demons and be able to live like a really positive lifestyle again. So I primarily made this video because I wanted to kind of share my experiences with my therapy and the benefits that it brought my life. So my first benefit was that my first lesson that basically they taught me was that you really need to talk about your feelings, whether it's through a book, like journaling, or talking to somebody, because bottling up your feelings just isn't healthy, like at all. Because one of these days, I always say that everybody's a ticking time bomb, because everybody has feelings and emotions that need to be released. And that's why I feel like with therapy, they taught me that I do need to talk to somebody. And they gave me different ways to talk to people, whether it was through therapy or journaling or literally just talking to myself in the mirror and like being able to organize my thoughts in that sense, because when you're so flustered, like, you can't, like, there's no words that can describe your feelings, because there's just like 100 thoughts just running through your head at like 1,000 miles an hour, and it's super hard to I gave my therapist this analogy that, remember in SpongeBob where they show his conscious, and it's like a workplace where his memories are filed in a drawer, and he's basically filing everything, and he can't think because his brain got on fire. And that's exactly the feeling that I felt when I was trying to discuss my feelings. Like, I didn't know which one to talk about first. I didn't know which one to talk about next, because there was just, every feeling just wanted to come out. And my second one that I learned was to have a solid, like, few people that you can genuinely talk to. So I can have I have a solid 6 people that I can go to kind of just talk and vent about my feelings. And within those 6 people, I have divided them into 2 groups. So I have divided them into the listener and into the advisor. So I'm really thankful, because some people that I have in those lists, like, I just need somebody to listen sometimes. I don't really need advice. And when I go to the listener, it's more of just being able to kind of, organize my thoughts. And I'm pretty sure if you're watching this and you are in my 6, I'm pretty sure you know which side you fall into. And then my advisor is somebody that obviously I ask for advice when needed. And when you go to the advisor, you always have to think about it first, because obviously people have different opinions. And when you go to the advisor, and sometimes the advisor doesn't give you the opinion that you want, like, you have to be optimistic and open to what they say, because like I said, everybody's different, everybody thinks differently. So you really have to choose your advisors really well, in my opinion. So I have a solid 6, and I'm really thankful that those people can fall either or sometimes in the middle. So this is gonna sound super silly, but another thing that I learned is breathing. So you can hyperventilate very easily when you can't control something. And I, like, in the beginning, I would always hyperventilate because I would start crying. And my therapist taught me a breathing technique where you kind of like imagine a rectangle. So obviously the side parts are shorter than the long parts. So you would kind of inhale and then exhale, and then inhale and then exhale. So yeah, I do that about 15 times when I feel super flustered and I feel like I can't breathe, because either my chest is constricting super hard or I just forgot how to breathe. So yeah, that's another one. And my next one is that it's okay to cry. Bro, like, I know the human body consists of about 70 to 75% of water, but like, I literally thought I was dehydrated because of all the crying that I've done. And my crying, like, it's super therapeutic. I know it's annoying because at the end you're like all puffy and your nose is just congested, probably like how I sound like right now, but yeah, it's super beneficial to just be able to cry. And another thing that I learned is that you don't have to tell the whole world your problem. An explanation to how you want to live your life, one, and to how you want to handle it, and to what's going on. So that's all to you. So don't even think that you owe anybody an explanation, because you don't. I just want to kind of shed a light onto you guys that everything will be okay and your feelings are still valid. I know that a lot of things, especially with this coronavirus, a lot of feelings are not being validated. It's a very weird situation that we're in right now, and I kind of just wanted to be there for you guys, maybe kind of help validate some of your feelings if you felt the same thing if you felt the same way that I had felt. Yeah, I just want you guys to know that we will get through this and that you're not alone, because there's more people in this world that you think aren't going through it that are actually going through it with you. So maybe try journaling, maybe try finding a therapist online. I know they do video calls, because that's what I used to do in the beginning. But yeah, I hope you guys are staying safe. I hope you guys are staying healthy, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.